Okay, so this is a sort of color picker plugin that I've developed for CrazyTalk Animator to bypass some of the limitations in the coloring system. What it does is basically it allows you to create custom stylizers for your objects that you can use to more easily recolor your characters. So I am dropping a couple of render style compatible characters. These are the default characters. The default characters have been pre-mapped using Reallusion's default color definitions. So I'm going to use those for now. I use my own custom ones on my own characters, but to kind of show you a universal application, I'm using the default ones here. So here's basically the color picker, and it just kind of floats on top there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a color here. Let's see. So let's say if we're making a African American type character, I'm going to look for a little bit of a dark color. So that kind of looks nice. That's going to be this A68950. I click the export button, and it's generating my my prop that I'm going to use, and it kind of generates it in the same directory as my colorizer panel. So I'm going to drop that into CrazyTalk. So that's the color that I created. Don't mind that bird in the background. I'm gonna go into composer mode because there is one more step that you have to do manually here, unfortunately. There is no API published by CrazyTalk otherwise, or by Reallusion I mean. Otherwise I would probably just make it automatically export this the way it needs to be. So unfortunately we have to do one more step here. I'm going to look for the base color, and here it is. I'm gonna assign that to the color that I want to change. So in this case I want to change skin 1, hit apply, and we're gonna go back to our stage. So now this little prop is render style enabled, and I can use it to color my characters using this apply select the render style button here. So I just kind of drop it in there, boom, and boom, and boom. All right, so there wasn't a lot of thought put into the creation of these default Reallusion characters. Otherwise, they would have, you know, kind of made some adjustments, or you know, for the additional skin tones, but it's a start. So like, I'm assuming this is probably skin 2. Anyways, you can kind of just use this skin this stylizer thing, this CTA colorizer tool, to create new colors. Gives you more control over what you are doing. So we're going to go ahead and generate. So I created it here, that 3C8DFF. You can see that there's this little flash movie here that was created. So we're going to drop that into CrazyTalk Animator, or Cartoon Animator 4. Go into composer mode. So here we're going to assign it to skin 1. And we're going to go back out, and now we're able to apply that color to our characters. So select, use the bucket tool, drop it onto my character. Let's do one more, and actually let's go ahead and use this in a more conventional sense. So let's say we are going to create, we're going to change her skin tone, and we're going to change her clothing, okay? Maybe her hair as well. So I'm gonna get rid of these previous two props that I don't need right now. And I'm going to look for a new skin color. Let's try that for skin color. We're gonna drop it in here. And let's see here. We're gonna go into composer mode. Go to skin 1. And let's take a quick look at this secondary color. As soon as it lets us come back out. So these little secondary colors here, just to verify what is being mapped, I'm going to go to this particular sprite. Okay, it's in the eye. I'm going to go to the grouping options. And this is how we find out what's being used where. So we have eyelid. So that's that top one there. Eyeball, skin 2. Where's skin 2? Doesn't look like it's being used for anything. It's just really weird the way they set this up, but here it goes. So they're using skin 2 for the freckles. All right, so we're gonna create a skin 2 color, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this same one, I'm gonna duplicate it, hold down I think the control key while I drag, and I am simply going to go back into the composer mode again. And I'm gonna redo this one, remap it to skin 2. Let's go back out. So technically it's the same color, but I can adjust this now. Maybe make it a little darker. And I'm going to go ahead and apply it. So there's that. And I'm going to take this other base color and I'm going to apply that. Okay. So now that I have that, I'm going to look into making a color for the shirt. So the easiest way that the way I'm gonna do it is I'm going to maybe give her some kind of a purplish color shirt. Export. And let me just verify that. So there's my purplish color, and I'm gonna get a new color for my pants. Maybe. And if I need to make it a little bit bigger so I can kind of get more control over the actual colors that I'm selecting, I can just make that toolbar a little bit more larger. I'm going to export that. It's that F6 that's right here. I'm going to export it. Import it. And let's choose a new color for the shoes. Okay, so that should take care of that. I believe it's this one. Okay. So, same procedure. The shirt is most likely upper 1. You can go into the character and just kind of verify it if you need to. But I'm going to take a wild guess and assume it's that one. If it doesn't work, then I guess we'll go into the character and take a look. So there's that color there. Then we're going to take these pants colors. It will be lower 1 most likely. Lower 1. Go back out. And we can apply it. Oh. Okay, it wasn't it. So in this case, we're gonna have to go into the character and see what it is that they mapped the pants to. So we'll select this, any one of these sprites here. Lower 3. Okay. So we're gonna go in here again. Oops. Go to the vector mapping tool. We're gonna switch it to lower 3. There was really no thought put into how they configure these characters, but it doesn't matter. Nobody uses these anymore. And we're gonna map these to the shoe. Most likely is shoes 1. Okay, and we apply it. It was not it. See, I took a wrong guess. So let's try it again. We're gonna go into this character. Gonna take a look at that shoe sprite. Go into the mapping area. And it's shoes 3. So if you're interested in a better way of mapping these, feel free to check out toontitan.com. I published my own color standard, and if you follow that, it'll allow you to create characters that are more consistent, and you can use these stylizers across all your characters a little bit better. So let's see here. Shoes 3. And kind of altered the color a little bit. That's a little bit of a bug. So you don't always end up with the exact color that you started with. Unfortunately, there's no way to fix CrazyTalk Animator's bugs themselves. However, these are still modifiable. So if we want to bring that bright color back, we just edit the stylizer itself. You know, and adjust it any way we want. And put it in there. There we go. Now, the cool thing about these things is that they're reusable, so you can save them once they're configured. You can save them into your own area here. So we'll go to prop, for example, and you can just set up yourself a little colors folder. Let's see, new folder. For example, oops, I misspelled it. Space there. Character colors, and we're gonna create. We're just gonna save these for one particular. Let's call her Emily. Let's call her Emily. So these are gonna be Emily's colors. So this is gonna be skin. skin 2, or more accurately, freckles. I'm just going to leave it as skin 2. This is going to be shirt. And these are going to be pants. Oops. And these are going to be the shoes. And we can also make some for the hair and anything else you want to save as part of this character. You can do it. But just so you can get an idea of how you can make your life a little easier. So we have this style kit here that I can reuse at any time with any other character that follows the same color binding, I guess. Let's see here, characters, template, G2. So we'll look for any G2 character that is render style compatible. Here's Walter. And we're going to go into our props. I'm going to get the skin color and dump it in there. Okay, I'm going to get that shirt and dump that in there. And we're going to get the shoes and dump that in there. Alrighty. And of course, they are modifiable, so if you need to make this darker or lighter or whatever, you just go into the render style itself, adjust the brightness, you know, hue and all that good stuff. And you can resave it. So you only have to make these like once, really, unless you don't want to mess with these themselves. You can use the colorizer thing. So let's see here. Now that I changed the color, I can just apply it again. So let's see if we can make a more African American style character here. This has already been mapped to skin 1, so I can do this within CrazyTalk Animator now. Okay. There you go. Unfortunately, you know, you're gonna have to adjust that secondary color as well. Let's see if it's part of that skin 2. We might get lucky. Yep. So we'll adjust this skin 2. It's a little bit better. So that's kind of how you can work with these things, and you can resave them to a different color collection if you want. But other than that, that's the whole point behind that. And basically, this little tool is, you know, is basically a streamlined approach to creating these flash props. Basically, by selecting a color, I export that color into a prop that CrazyTalk will recognize in flash format, and basically you can do this without the use of flash itself. So if you don't have flash or anything that creates SWF movies, you can use this tool, and it kind of streamlines the whole process. Super blue color and kind of messed it up a little bit, but you get the idea. Now creating these, you can do this yourself. So if you have Affinity Designer or you know, I don't know, Inkscape or something that creates flash files, you can do this. Obviously, you can, ideally you want to just use Flash. I mean, there's really no substitute for Flash itself. So here I am in Adobe Animate, which is basically Flash. You just create any kind of object. It really doesn't matter. You can be all fancy about it or not. And just pick the color you want. You know, it's very simple. You can use Flashes, like really high-end coloring tools, or you can even use like Toon Titan, you know, to generate like better cell shaded type styles. And once you have the colors you want, basically you just create your prop and export it. I'm gonna call it my swatch. It's just like a little swatch. All we're doing is exporting a vector-based object, and that's this object right here. So we're gonna dump that into our CrazyTalk Animator, or Cartoon Animator 4, and we just follow the same process. So you don't necessarily need that tool as long as you have another tool that will allow you to create these props. So with this prop enabled, you just follow the same procedure. Go into composer mode and select, try to find your color, and here it is, skin 1, and we'll go out, and now we can use that to paint our colors, our characters. All right, so hopefully that gives you guys some ideas and some new ways of working, in case you weren't aware that you can do this already. Any questions, feel free to hit me up. You can get my little colorizer tool from toontitan.com. And there's an older one available somewhere on the web. I kind of lost track of it. You can just if you look for it on Google, I'm sure you can find it. I'm gonna put this one up on toontitan.com, and pay whatever you want kind of format. So if it's useful, great. If it's not, I'm sorry. It is Windows only, unfortunately. So if you're on a Mac, you won't be able to use this particular tool. But as long as you have any kind of tool that will allow you to develop your own SWF movies, then you can use the technique to do these kind of props.